So, it's been a while, and I've been meaning to do another review ever since I did the one of the C class. But yeah, I just haven't felt like it. Been a bit busy, doing other things. And I don't do this for ad revenue. I don't do this to massage my carpet. I just do it for fun. So, without much ado, here is another review. Review. So in this review, I've got Thomas and Percy and Annie and Clarabel and Troublesome Truck 1 and Troublesome Truck 2. So that's 6 items to look at. Yeah, that's a lot. And I'm going to skim through them pretty quickly and give you the gist. And the gist is, spoiler alert, that they are fantastic. Anyway, as you can see, they are in clamshell packaging, as per most Bachmann and Farish products they are these days. You just literally pull the lid off, pull the little piece of plastic off the top, and then pull the model out. And that's it. It's that simple. So, as you can see, here are the models out of their boxes, and they look fantastic. But the one thing that I want to get across here is how small they are. Now, I know a lot of people have been confusing these with the previous offerings from Tomix. The Tomix models were absolutely massive, great for their time, but massive. So much so that many British modelers couldn't actually fit them on their layouts because they'd hit bridges and tunnels and things like that. These models don't suffer from those issues. They fit well within the loading gauge, and whether you model Continental or British or American, these will fit on your layout. They are that small. But to show the size, here is Thomas next to a pound coin. And if you don't live in Britain, here's Thomas next to a euro. And if you don't live in Europe, here is Thomas next to a 10 yen coin. And again, Thomas next to a 5 cents coin. Now, of course, we've been in a global pandemic, so coins and cash haven't really featured for most of the year, so some of you might not be able to get the equivalency from here. So I've created this little montage to show you Thomas and Percy next to various objects, which hopefully will give you an idea of size. So as you can see, yes, they are really tiny, and probably not a good idea to run them on the carpet. Well, probably not a good idea to run any model trains on the carpet, because that's just a really special thing to do. But with these in particular, they're so small, they'll get lost in the carpet. Best to create a tabletop setup for them of some description, or put them on a proper layout. That works too. Anyway, let's have a closer look at Thomas and Annie and Clarabel, and as you can see, the main thing that stands out as some sort of issue is probably the rods, because a lot of people have mentioned these. They say, oh, they look too chunky, but the point that I made before about size is you've got to realise how small this is, and the rods couldn't be any smaller, otherwise it could cause mechanical frailty. And to be honest, when you see it in real life and see that the driving wheels are tiny, it's not a problem. Not a problem at all. But other than that, from appearance sake, I would say that it's a bit of a mash of styles. So the proportions of Thomas and Annie and Clarabel are probably more or less right for most of the TV series, the proper TV series with the models. However, his face is distinctly from the CGI era. It reminds me of a YouTube poop called Giant Monster Train Party. If you haven't seen it, please look for it and watch it. It is absolutely brilliant, and the best thing that could be ever done with any of the CGI rubbish that was produced in the TV series. But I suspect this is possibly out of Bachmann's hands. If you can overlook his face and stop looking at it and thinking,
very excited, very disappointed.
Diesel's right in front of me.
References to the poop. If you can get those out of your head for a couple of minutes, he's actually pretty good. Annie and Clarabel, they seem to match seasons 4, 5, 6, roundabout there. They seem spot on. I guess the original models from season 1 and 2 were replaced at that point, or revamped. So if you wanted to do season 1, season 2 around about there, you'd have to modify these models slightly. Moving on to Percy and the Troublesome Trucks. Now Percy again is perfectly formed. His rods are actually a similar thickness to Thomas's, but I'm guessing because the driving wheels are spaced further apart and one of them is behind a crosshead, it just looks fine. And this is something that if you don't see them in person or see them side by side, you don't realise. And I haven't seen as much criticism for the rods on Percy on pages and forums as I have for Thomas. Percy again is perfectly formed and he's brilliant. The only problem, as I say, is the silly CGI face. I mean, when will Bachmann grow out of this? Need to make it, suitable for those people over the age of 14 who remember the TV series as it was, because I can guarantee that that's where most people will be buying them, because some of us just will not grow up. I mean, I'm 32 and I had to have these because I remember the TV series being one of the best things ever. Anyway, onto the trucks, and you get two different faces. One of them is fat and the other one is thin. Now, I can never remember which way round they are, and this is probably one of the criticisms I have, because I'm a little bit OCD with the boxes. They've designated them as Troublesome Truck 1 and Troublesome Truck 2. Now, I actually had to go and look on Bachmann's website to work out which box to put them back in each. I know 99% of people won't care about this, but if they could have just put on the bottom a 1 or a 2, depending on which one it is, that would be really helpful. But that is a very, very minor niggle for models that all have metal wheels and they all have NEM pockets. So you can switch them out for dipole easy shunt couplings or magnetic couplings or whatever you want to call them. In fact, this is how you do this. I'm showing you now on one of the models, and yeah, it's that simple, and you can actually use them and shunt them as you would do any other item of rolling stock. So this brings me on to talking about performance. Now both Thomas and Percy have plastic bodies, but inside there is a lot of metal, which is great because it adds a lot of weight and helps with both traction and pickup. Now the models are DC when they arrive, and they are not DCC ready. And I've seen criticism about this on some pages saying, well, they should be DCC ready. But I think the people saying that don't appreciate how small they are. If you still don't appreciate how small they are, I suggest you skip back a couple of minutes and watch the montage again. So this brings me on to the two options that Bachmann probably had. The first being just to make them normal DC only. And the second to fit a factory chip into them that fit inside the body. But of course this second option means that the end product would have been more expensive, which is not good for a mass market. I feel that actually they've compromised, and that by going for the first option, which is DC only, not only is it more accessible to more people and slightly cheaper to buy, but also they've laid out the internals in such a way that the wires needed to be cut in order to fit a chip are very easily accessible. There's no fiddling around. There's a lot of excess wire in there to make the install as easy as possible, and it is pretty easy. I've made a guide on how to do this, and it's on my Facebook page, which will be linked down below in the description. So to test performance, I ended up doing the same test that I did previously with the C-Class. Now if you remember from that review, the C-Class took 15 wagons up and then really struggled to get them going again. It actually pulled away more comfortably with 13, and I would have said that the 13 was the comfortable limit for that locomotive. However, as you can see here, both Thomas and Percy have smashed that. Absolutely smashed it. They are tiny in comparison to the C-Class, yet they both comfortably pull away with 20 wagons apiece. 20 wagons! For such tiny little engines! I'm astounded. Absolutely astounded. Anyway, I prepared a little montage of both Thomas and Annie and Clarabel and Percy and the Troublesome Trucks for you to see before I conclude this. So enjoy. as you can see, they are both absolutely fantastic runners. They pull a lot. They really look the part. Yes, they have CGI faces that remind me of quotes from some silly YouTube poop. And yeah, they are compromised because they don't come DCC ready or fitted. But overall, I think they are fantastic. Probably some of the best ready-to-run steam locomotives available in N right now. So, to conclude, I just want to talk briefly about price, because of course these are Bachmann USA items. Now, I can't speak for other countries, but here in the UK I know a lot of smaller model shops have got suppliers and have managed to get them in stock. And the prices can range dramatically from one place to another. Now, I just want to make the point that I know some places do them cheaper and some places are slightly more expensive. But out of the price ranges I've seen, they are worth every penny, even from your local, which might be more expensive than some other places. The quality is exemplary, and if they were anywhere up in the region of, say, 100 to 110 pounds a piece, I'd still say they were worth that money. I'd still say they are good enough quality to justify those price tags. Now, I hope I'm not encouraging other shops to put their prices up with this, but I'm saying that I've seen them from anywhere between 80 and 90 pounds. And if your local is retailing for 90 pounds, just pay the £9 extra. Support them at this difficult time, and you won't be disappointed with the end product. Trust me, you just will not be disappointed. They are fantastic. Anyway, on that note, that's it for this review, and there's nothing more for me to say on the matter, really, apart from happy modelling, have a good Christmas, and keep your trains off the carpet.
Thomas felt very proud.